If ICE detains your friend or family member, it's very easy to panic and do the wrong things in this situation. But here's exactly what you need to do step by step in order to help them fast. First, if you've come to learn that your friend or family member has been detained by ICE, you can actually locate them pretty quickly. There's a website called the Online Detainee Locator System. You can Google it and the website will come up. You can locate your relative or family member if you have their full name and date of birth, or their A number if they have one. Now, sometimes there can be delays in showing up in the system because it can take 24 hours for the system to update. But if they're not showing up, you can call the closest ICE field office to them and try to see where they are. Now, the ICE offices are notorious for not picking up their phones, so you're going to want to keep calling because your persistence really matters. Now, having the individual's A number, if they have one, is really crucial. An A number is an 8 or 9 digit number that ICE uses to track non-citizens. And if your relative or friend has ever had an immigration case, they're going to have an A number. The way you would find that is by looking at their past immigration paperwork, like receipt notices from the government or work permits. And sometimes people have a photo of it somewhere or they've given it to a trusted person. Now, it's really important in this situation to also get a lawyer, but not just any lawyer. Immigration law is really complex, so you need an experienced immigration lawyer who handles removal defense cases. Some red flags to watch out for are that they guarantee release immediately. They ask for thousands of dollars upfront, but they can't even explain the process in which they'd help your relative or friend. Or they tell you not to worry and that everything is good, and they don't really give you specifics as to what their plan of action is. So when looking for a lawyer, ask for a consultation and make sure you ask them if they've handled cases like the one your relative or friend is facing. But before you meet with a lawyer, you want to make sure you gather as much documentation as possible. This again includes the A number if your relative or friend has one, copies of any past immigration paperwork like green card applications, asylum applications, work permit applications, anything that has their information on it that's been given to immigration. Proof of how they entered the United States. This could be with their visa and their passport, or if they entered through a border crossing. Any criminal records if they've had encounters with law enforcement. And proof that they have ties to the United States, evidence of their employment in the country, or evidence of their residence, like a lease or bills going to their home. And when you actually talk to a lawyer, it's so important to know your relative or friend's immigration history. They will ask you, how did they come to the United States? Have they applied for anything with immigration in the past? Do they have a prior deportation order? Have they been arrested before? You can't guess on these things because misinformation can really hurt your relative or friend's case moving forward. So that's why it's really important to have these conversations before your relative or friend actually comes across ICE. Because once ICE takes them, you're going to have a hard time accessing them, their phone, or their documents. So ask them about how they entered the US, whether they have an A number, if they've applied with immigration for anything in the past. Do they have any court dates coming up? Where do they keep their important documents? Making sure that this information is accessible and stored in a safe place is critical. And lastly, you want to know if your relative or friend can get bond. Now, not everyone is eligible for bond, but if they are, a lawyer could argue for it in immigration court. If granted, friends and family can help pay the bond to get the person out. If this information was helpful for you, tag a friend or share it with somebody who you think might need it. For more immigration news and information, feel free to give us a follow.